Hi everyone, I'm David. I'll be giving the COVID-19 BCR teaching and learning for April 2020 module planning briefing for module leaders on behalf of CLTE. This brief was conducted over the last 2 weeks and some of us were not able to attend due to the oversubscription as well as exam schedules. As we have experienced and known, worldwide there are already 114,000 cases and the numbers are escalating, especially in the European areas. And we have seen many cases in Korea, Italy, and many European countries escalating in COVID-19 cases outside China. And in the poly, what are we to do? CLTE has given us this BCR T&L planning deck for us to run through. The broad curriculum directions given by them is to plan for red, implement at orange for the entire semester. We are to move all our teaching and learning materials, be it lecture, tutorial, and where possible parts of practical, online. Find alternate assessments for assessments such as presentation by using video presentations with a video talking head, as well as other forms of submission. Example, submitting reports through mail. And lastly, we are to redesign, compress, and make up our module teaching learning plan. As we have also seen worldwide, universities, institutions, schools have gone online. Examples such as Hong Kong, China, Korea, they have done their learning online. Locally, NUS, NTU, SMU have also moved large lectures online. So what is it for us? In Ngee Ann Poly, right now we are in DOSCON Orange. We have implemented moderate operational constraints, such as allowing permissible group size of up to 60 packs. This limits face-to-face interaction. We have also partially closed school access, example the SMU gates. Student staff have also been put on home quarantine, SHN, LOA. And for us not to disrupt learning, we should go online and conduct classroom learning and assessments in small groups. So for planning, for possible campus closure, we have to plan for the entire semester. And when DOSCON rate hits us, it means that staff and students would have to go home base. Learning would have to go online. So these are the various teaching and learning planning scenarios for us in DOSCON Orange as well as DOSCON Red scenarios. So for DOSCON Orange example, lectures. In DOSCON Orange, we could do it online as well as in face-to-face. And when done online, it could be in async mode or synchronous mode. Asynchronous would allow staff and students to access the materials on their own time, whereas synchronous would require both staff and students to come together online for a BB Collaborate MS Teams session. For Orange face-to-face small group classes, it would be pretty much the same operations as what we are having right now. So this is for lectures. For Red, definitely we have to go online and no face-to-face as the campus is closed. So for tutorials, likewise, similar to lectures, For practicals, likewise, provided the pre-practicals or the practicables can be done online in DOSCON rate. So certain practicals such as electrical type of practicals where we could simulate a connection of wires, resistors, equipment, we could then do online. If not, we probably have to postpone it to a later time. For projects, it really depends on the project nature. It could be done online, offline. If equipment facilities are required, we then would have to redesign the entire project design development phase. For practicum, service learning classes, we would have to redesign the service learning approach. We would have to do indirect service online via project research base or advocacy base, or online synchronous via live human library. And if these are not possible, we would have to do a makeup as advised by OSL. For SOE, only 3 courses have modules that are impacted by this DOSCON Orange situation, namely AVT, NSS, and ES. For assessments, where possible, we should do online. So this would be pertaining to assessment methods such as presentation, report, assignment, submission. For pen and paper tests, practical tests that requires face-to-face, we would have to postpone them. Of course, for Orange, we could still carry on as per what we have experienced in the recent examination weeks, where there will not be any large venue examinations, but small venues. And lastly, for internship, OIC would have to advise us based on the situation. So how do we get our plan ready? This is an example of a DOSCON Orange teaching and learning plan. So as you can see, the entire lecture has been converted to online learning. So essentially they've flipped their learning, and students just come in for tutorials and practicals. And for tutorials, some of the tutorials are also converted online, practicals as well. Some have online elements such as the preparation and reading prior to face-to-face laboratories. For assessment, we have the MEL quiz, and this is unauthenticated, and we could only do this at very small percentages unless it's done in a authenticated manner, meaning they are done in the class itself. And for common tests, we are still able to do it in DOSCON Orange. And we have to plan all this till week 15. So, in this example, if campus closure were to happen from week 3 to week 5 in this shaded area, what would then happen? The face-to-face lessons would have to be postponed, and online classes will have to be conducted in lieu of the campus closure. Common tests in this case may have to be deferred to a later part of the semester, and this will be directed centrally from Ngee Poly or from the School of Engineering. So, alternate plan would be to front load all the lectures, all the tutorials, all the online practicals, and all the online assessments. And once campus is open, we can then do all the face-to-face classes as shown here, all the labs, all the tutorial, all the tests that requires face-to-face. So of course in this case, the key constraint will be facilities and resources. So within our module teams, we have to try to figure out which is the best mode for us depending on facilities and resources. So in the nutshell, for DOSCON Orange, this is the likely learning schedule. We will try as much as possible to have all the learning done online via various means: mail, iVid, Google applications for education, GAF. And this could be done for lectures, tutorials, and some parts of practical. And in the small group face-to-face tutorial practicals, we could then have the various learning and teaching activities. And lastly, for assessment, this could be done again face-to-face as well as online. So these are some tips for planning for lectures and tutorials. We would try our best to do online asynchronous. Essentially, what we could do is to upload resources for reading. We could also post recorded lectures, such as narrated PowerPoint, videos of our workings on mail, iVid. And we should also set up formative assessment in the form of MCQ, in the form of short questions, in the form of short assignment submission to check students' understanding as well as to account for their participation and attendance. So attendance will be taken via their attempts on these formative assessments that we have set up. So these are the various platforms for online asynchronous lecture. So these are the suite for our reference. So right now I just want to introduce to this mail site where we could learn how to convert and also create lectures, assessments for asynchronous lessons as well as synchronous lessons. So this is another learning tip on creating videos, lectures, and screencasts with iVid 2. There's Padlet that we could use to solicit students' responses, reflections, discussions, some form of a discussion forum. Next, for tutorials that requires discussion collaboration, so they could plan and design a suite of activities based on all these platforms, and the lecturers could consolidate their discussion again on this kind of a platform. So this is a summary of the various tools that we can use and the various types of teaching and learning methods that we could use. As you can see, this is what HS has done on Google Classroom. We can also do a Padlet reflection and discussion. This is from BA. For engineering, we are likely to use this mode of tutorial or practice, application and computation based type of activities. So for students, they can do presentation, they can do online submissions. So this can be done through these various platforms. And of course, for staff, we could feedback our students via the mail, quizzes, feedback. We could also do various platforms such as these to provide the feedback. Now we have this example from engineering. This is by our mechatronics staff, Ng Shiping. She has done a series of iVid 2 videos on industrial automation. This is for revision in the recent examination. She did it because she wanted to reduce the face-to-face contact time with the students, and students could refer to this for the review. This is another example, Flipgrid, done for our engineering technical officers training program. So we've got them to do a 1-minute reflection of what they've learnt. Stop for now.